Hey folks, thanks for stopping by. About 2 months ago, end of January, beginning of March, I started these onions in seed snails, and I want to do an update on it. I'll kind of give you a hint. I like it. I think it'll work really, really well, especially if you're wanting to plant a lot of things in a limited amount of space. But the main reason why I did the onions, I plant a lot of them, and when I go out to the farm, when I go out to the rows where I want to put them, I want to be able to just unroll them right in the area and then just pull them out and pop them in. I'll have a video on that when I actually go out to do it. It's a little bit cold out there right now in southeastern Connecticut. Not quite time yet. I always err on the side of waiting a little bit longer. And I think the way these are growing, I don't think it'll be a problem. Now, as you can see, yeah, they're getting tall. I'm going to give them a good haircut in about a week or so, a couple of days, and then a week later after they've healed up, then I'll be going out to put them in the garden. But my overall thoughts on the seed snails, it's great. I had good germination. They don't seem to be affected by the crowding. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if it looks like my cats might have laid on them or something. No, they didn't really do that. They just fell over. They were up about this high, and then just one day, boom, they just got too much top heavy and fell over. The other thing we're going to do in this video today, I'm going to start some Anise Hyssop. I don't know how to pronounce that name. It's the plant that smells like licorice. I love planting that. I'm a beekeeper. The bees love it. The other pollinators, hummingbirds, bumblebees, the wild bees, they just congregate on it. And it blooms for like 3 months before it finally dies out. I'm going to show you how I took the seeds that I harvested, separate the seeds, and I'm going to plant those in seed snails as well. I'm also going to be planting sweet alyssum. I've planted this quite a few times, and I love it as a border or as a shade area for my tomatoes and any other high-growing plant because it kind of shades the soil, keeps it a little cool. Here in Connecticut, we can get some really hot weather, believe it or not, and the sun can be, in my fields, pretty strong. So this works really well. It also is a pollinator attractor. Not so much, hummingbirds or anything like that because it's a very small flower. But things like the wild bees, it's also an attractor of insects that are beneficial in a lot of other different ways. So we're going to do the hyssop, and we're going to do the alyssum in seed snails, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, we've got our hyssop from last year that I harvested, and I try to get it before the buds open up completely and start dropping the seeds, because otherwise this would all be for nothing. But they're very, very small seeds, so what I do, I put them in a little strainer thing here, and I give them a good mix up. Now, out of these, I'll get a lot of seeds. And that's good because I plant a lot of them. The reason why I do, the deer don't like them. They won't eat them. So I plant them around my different beds. Now, does that mean that the deer won't eat what's in your beds? No. The deer just hold their nose and walk right over the top of them and go to where they want. And that's fine. I like them because they attract the beneficial insects, and they're great for my honeybees, and they smell nice. And I'm not real fond of licorice. I don't eat licorice, other than the strawberry Twizzlers on occasion, and I don't think that's really licorice anyway. But the black licorice, I can smell it. I can smell it now. It's beautiful. I don't mind this. I don't know, maybe it's something in the chemical process of making licorice the way they make it nowadays. Although I do have to say, I have had real licorice, and I didn't like it either. But anyway, back to what we're doing. We're going to be taking these seeds and planting them in the seed snails. And the reason for that is because I want a lot of them. I want 400 of these plants to put around my farm gardens and to give away to friends. But I'm just kind of sifting this out, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see this, but there's a lot of seeds in there already. Now, why don't I just take the whole thing and crush it up and go from there? Well, hyssop, to start off, you don't want to cover it. It does require light, and so when we put it in the seed snails, I'm just going to press the seeds down into the soil a little bit, but I am going to include whatever of the chaff that does fall in there, so it kind of, helps to retain the moisture for the seed as it's coming up. All right, I think I've got 400 in here at least. Okay, now comes the fun part. Let's make a seed snail. Now, I'm just going to do one today because, well, if you've seen one seed snail be made, you've seen 100 of them be made. I found a neat little trick though. I've used a lot of different ways to, when I roll them up, different ways to attach them so that they didn't unroll. And I found this blue painter's tape works really, really well. And unlike, your plastic duct tapes and paracord and different things like that that aren't biodegradable, this is. And other than sticking to itself, it's fairly easy to use, right? All right, let me try that again. Watch this. Ta-da. More than one way to tape a seed snail. Sure it is. And I just lay it down, sticky side up, and then I'm going to leave enough on the side to roll it over. Now, I will use more than that. I'll wrap it around a couple of times, but that's not the important part. This is the important part. I've got my seed starting mix. Of course, it has worm castings in it. I think worm castings are very, very useful for getting your seeds to germinate well. I think that the bacteria, the biology in the worm castings actually, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but sends out a signal to the seed that, hey, everything's cool. Come on, let's grow. Of course, the worm castings also add good moisture and tilth to your soil. Now, if you notice what I'm doing, kind of getting this fairly even. But I noticed that if you make it a little lighter on the bottom, when you roll it up, it kind of goes into a cone shape to kind of help to hold the soil in there. I don't know that it matters that much, but it's just something that I do. Get a little bit more over there. A little bit more. And then just roll it up. Don't want to press too hard because you want the soil to not be so compacted that the seeds have a hard time, especially with the hyssop and your smaller seeds, the alyssum. You know, they've got pretty fine, delicate roots, especially the alyssum in the beginning. And then, boom. Now make sure, if you can see it real well, it doesn't stick too well to the material, but this tape sticks real well to itself. And I'll go ahead and put on another one. Kind of pull the bottom, whichever end you decide to be the bottom, pull a little tighter, helps to keep the soil in there. Ta-da! Now, sometimes towards the very end where you roll it, it'll get a little bit thinner. Just take some more soil, pop it down in there. It'll be fine. I just give it a light tamp all the way around. And then again with the hyssop, it needs light, so we're not going to cover it. All we're going to do is take our billions of seeds and sprinkle. Now, I'm not too worried about them being overcrowded in here, because when they come up, if I see that there's just way too many, I can always trim them. But because this does have the chaff in there, I'm not sure exactly how many seeds I'm putting in there. So I am going to go a little overboard with them. I go everything a little overboard. If you've watched some of my videos, you'll see I tend to go overboard. But it's better to go overboard than not have enough, right? And then to make sure they get good soil to seed contact, again, just go around the snail, go around the spiral here, and tamp them down. Okay, talking about worms and worm tea. This is a light solution, and I'm just going to give the whole thing a nice spray. That again is going to help to, the moisture is going to help to draw that seed down to good soil contact. And it's as easy as that, not difficult. I'm going to put this into a cookie tray, a store-bought cookie tray. Recycle, reuse, right? I can go for that. The other nice thing about this is when I put these inside of here, I can water from the bottom. With these small seeds, you don't want to be watering too much from the top, because again, it will push them down in there. But, oh, you want to see something neat? This is what happens when you have your sprayer and you pop the handle back on, and the handle, yeah, that's what happens. All right, folks. Well, I want to thank you for watching. If you got a little bit out of this, go ahead and hit the like. Subscribe maybe. I'm going to have a lot more content on this type of thing. Honeybee season's coming up really quick. There are going to be a lot of honeybee videos. I'm going to show how I use the seed snails for the onions and how I plant them. And you'll see firsthand how rolling that seed snail out, having it right there, makes it real easy just to pop them in. Are there better ways of doing it? Probably. If you have any better ways, feel free to put it down in the comments and let me know what you think. Let me know if you're going to give it a shot. Again, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you all later.